out my business. Nani? Okay.
What's good, YouTube? Thanks for joining us and welcome to the Identity Booth. As Heero, I'm Eric, and we are here to talk to you guys about something very, very, very important. Politics. Y'all know we talk about politics a lot. Mainly we talk about the red versus the blues, and this story unfortunately gives me the blues. Jeez. All right, so for those of you guys who don't know, some people in the GLP thought it was a great idea to start a quote-unquote third party, and I'm going to read what it is that they want to do. They want to preserve the Anglo-Saxon political traditions of this nation. That is literally written in there. That's what they said. But this is about America first. It sounds more like Anglo-Saxon first. And these people these are the people that are deeply rooted in the GOP. Now, I am not a GOP hater at all. But this is trash. These people are trash. I mean, this is continuing to happen. And people can say whatever they want about Donald Trump. But one thing he did flip over some rocks, and we done found some crickets, some cockroaches, and some snakes crawling around in the GOP. Heero, how many times a week do we have conversations about these people? I tend to be more conservative. Heero will admit that I tend to be more conservative than most people. But this is just unacceptable stuff I'm seeing. It's blatantly prejudicial behavior, ideology, tendencies. Like, what do you think, man?
We had a conversation about how the GOP would be better off getting people like me and you on their side. It would be beneficial to them to get some diversity. Like, it's clearly working across America. Like, there are things that black and white people can agree on. We see it every day. But the thing that kind of made it like pretty baffling, the trio that is leading this push, because when I don't know if they thought using the word obviously
Anglo-Saxon.
Yeah, obviously the word is complicated, but I don't know if they thought that people like me wouldn't be able to Google it and say that doesn't talk about me. But further, what about the history of this country? You know that there were brown people here before y'all, right? And you guys are the real immigrants, and like the terrorist immigrants. Like, you are it's funny that it's when you think about it though, we're constantly talking about how Mexico's going to bring the worst and bad people here, but y'all were the blueprints of that movement. And the people in the Congress who are representing this, MTG, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, and Matt Gaetz, the trinity of failure is literally leading this cause. And it begs the question: you have the sexual assault accusation, the conspiracy nut, and the gun nut all together, and their powers combined, they form the racist Republicans. And it's just like Captain America's Captain Planet or something out here. It's mad.
And bro, and to your point, man, these two women, I'm being polite, these two women voted no for the bone marrow transplant bill to be extended 5 years. The only two people. Why? Just to be contrary. Just to be an ornery, miserable human being.
And even further step into that, remember, the purpose of this bill is to unite or put the American people first.
Exactly.
How is that not beneficial? Matt Gaetz was the only person who didn't vote a confidence with the illegal, making it a federal crime to transport a minor in sex trafficking. Like, these are the people who are combining their strong swords. But and I have to say this because I don't like handing out pats on the back especially when someone's not even halfway through the job. But if I was a Republican looking on the other side, what could you say that they're not doing right? I mean, you could talk about the border, but no one has figured that out. But when we're talking about the COVID bill, when we're talking about the relief, when we talk about the numbers going down, when we talk about the stimulus checks coming out, when we talk about the resounding filling of cabinets, the basic necessities of our government functioning because seats are filled, you have to applaud it. You want to know who we haven't heard from in a long time, Eric?
Who?
Our favorite racist turtle, Mitch McConnell. And
no. We heard from him about that Maxine Waters comment.
But guess what? He's not talking about policy. And that's something that the Republican Party desperately needs to get part of, because you want to know some of the policies they are talking about, Eric? How to make it more difficult for people, over 400 different bills scattered throughout the country on how to make it more difficult to vote. True or false, did we not just have one of the most secure elections?
That's what they tell us.
And the 2 cases that I have found about there being voter fraud came from Republicans in Republican states. We literally covered a story where a lawyer was explaining how you can commit voter fraud. He did it in 4K. He did it on a live stream. So, like, it's crazy that 27 trans bill. I get that that's a conversation people want to have, but I don't think that's a place for the government to come in place. Hell, you want to know how insignificant the conversation is? The governor of Arkansas couldn't bring himself to change the law because he knew outright that it was a violation of the First Amendment and the Fourth. It's crazy to me that they're wasting so much time on this. And then my favorite, there are 12 bills going out right now, and one has been signed, so there's 11 left out there for anti-protesting bills. What should be the objective of the Republican Party if they want to get back on track?
Number one, first of all, they need a leader. They don't have one. They need a clean sweep. They need a professional. They need somebody like me. Because I have no problem punching a person in the mouth to get what I want. But no, seriously, I'm not going over there to help those people. I think they probably are beyond saving. But if they were going to make a comeback, they would definitely need a leader, someone clean. By clean, I mean no skeletons in closet. Sharp dressed, good background, good upbringing. No, nothing. Get that done first. Second thing they absolutely have to do is they got to mix up the pot. That's their issue. They don't want any diversity. They wanna be we're not gonna play that game. Even though there's plenty of people that they have on that side that they could easily graft into the party, but they just refuse. I mean, you got the Candace Owens and the Anthony Bryan Logans and the Brandon Tatums and the conservative twins, and I could just go on and on about all these conservative people who reach tens of millions of people a day on YouTube. Yet they haven't grafted these people in because they don't want to. I mean, they'll let you come work behind the scenes, but show me how many like Republicans are out in the forefront really doing something. They get a little gas and then they fizzle out. So that's the second thing. Thirdly, they got to actually have a platform. They don't have one. They just talking all this rah-rah about America and America. That's all they're talking about. We need to tighten up the borders and keep certain kinds of people out. And we need to, but they're not really, that's old. Like, they're not really talking about anything. And they don't have any words for the average American. That's why everything's got to be about emotion, about America. Like, that's old. We need to get actually on task and onto some real legislation.
But if you're still on the fence a little bit about, Republicans having policies, or maybe I'm targeting, by saying that those voter bills are suppressionists and they're racist, I'd like to direct your attention to Utah. Eric, how many people, not even Utah and Denver, there are certain cities and counties that have certain laws that go on, and it's amazing to me. Did you know that in Utah, they don't just send you a registration. They send you a ballot to vote.
Same day.
Same day. They send you the ballot in advance, but you can register and vote on the same day in Utah. No ID needed. Just 2 forms of just mailing address, right? Another thing is they have based, and if we're using the most populated Atlanta County versus Utah, where the most populated, like the Houston, for example, Houston had 1 mailing box for 10,000 people. 1 million people in Houston. Here, for every 400 people, there's at least 1 mailbox for them to drop off their mail. They've had 0 issues in voter fraud. They've had 0 issues with losing ballots. And guess what? If there's an issue with your signature that they find, they contact you immediately to rectify it via email and fax. Do we know what the percentage of people in Utah happen to be?
No. Probably something ridiculous. 98, 99%.
It's 96, I believe. 96% white. In Erie, Indiana, there was no questions of voter fraud, but in Hammond, Indiana, the county over, there was. The discrepancy was a population thing. I know they say that we bring up race a lot in politics, but you have to remember, it's because without context, their actions literally don't make sense. When you take race out of it, it literally doesn't make sense what they're doing because it's clear.
Yeah, so let me jump in here because I do want to piggyback what you're saying, but we got somebody in the comment section that says ID should be required to vote in all governmental elections, in my opinion. And while I tend to agree with that, the reason why this is even an issue is because of the inefficiencies of the government. First of all, the fact that we've been having this conversation is a problem.
Mm-hmm.
It should be an app loaded onto your phone that the government only allows you to use in a specified amount of time, and it would be attached to your address because you live here, you pay bills here, use the cell phone. It would have either your phone can do facial recognition and fingerprint recognition. We can prove that it's you on an app, and you can vote. You can register and vote the same day. We can have all the election results tabulated in an hour and not 10. The government is inefficient. The fact that people have to mail in a ballot in 2021 is a huge issue. Yes, it would work, and you cannot give me a good reason why it would not, because it's the app that the government pushes to your phone via permission, 2-factor authentication, 256-bit encryption. The government can do it.
And it works for our medical records. It's
and that's how we know, because that's exactly how we transmit medical records. I do this every day. 2-factor authentication, 256-bit encryption, and I'm authenticating who I am with a username and password and a thumbprint on my device. I'm just saying it could happen. It would be way more efficient, and we would never have to talk about this
again. Voter fraud would literally disappear. Everyone has one social security number. Everyone has one address. Once you tabulate it and put it in, hey, guess what? If you try to do it again, it blocks you out. If you say, wait, I didn't vote. Who voted for me? Okay, they can track and see which device it came from. There's so many ways of resolving this. But ultimately, I think for us, Eric, did you want to go through some of the things in this bill? Or are you entertained with this bill?
No, I'm not. I just wanted to really point that out. It's a bunch of the same rhetoric we saw from 2 years ago and 4 years ago. It's the same rhetoric: sovereignty, First Amendment, Second Amendment, immigration, finances, blah blah blah.
Basically, it's gonna fail, and the people who brought it up are failures and losers too. 2 of the people out of the 3 in this have been part of the Karen segment, so it's just laughable to see. But that's it for us. Other than that, there's a certain place you can find us. I don't know who started this, me or you.
Not me.
Oh, okay, that makes it. All right, hey, but for what it's worth, hey, thanks for joining us. Thanks for being on the show with us. This is our perspective on this, our view on it. Tell us what you think. That's what really matters. Tell us, do you believe that there should be an easier way to vote? Duh. But more importantly, what do you think the Republican Party could do? There's some people that really find hesitance in this, but the reason why I think he's such a good candidate is Mitt Romney. He's a good Republican because he's fair and balanced, and because Trump hated him. And Trump doesn't hate just anybody. He hates people that make him look bad. And Romney, for what it's worth, he voted in accordance with his people, not so much with what the political party wanted. But for whatever it's worth, leave that in the comment section below. Tell us how you feel about it. And also, you can find us on YouTube 24/7, 7 days a week. We're always here. We're going to be live streaming twice a week now. We're going to be trying to, Tuesday and Fridays. Political show on Tuesday, money show on Friday. We post videos here every day, podcasts, iTunes, Apple, Twitter, Twitch, anywhere. There's literally no place you can't find except for MySpace. We're not on MySpace. RIP to the top 8 page. That was always the most difficult decision for me, picking my top 8, because you didn't want to hurt somebody's feeling. And you know there's a girl you like and you want to slide in her DMs, but if you're not in her top 8, you ain't gonna get no love. But for the rest of y'all, like, share, subscribe. And if you're thinking about some of that high school love, it's because we're also doing some stuff for the high school world, man. Take it back to the old school days. Allenberg and Russo, they've been helping out some high schoolers, and we're trying to help them out too. Let's push that tough. If you got any type of change, anything like that, you want to donate, the description and the links all are in the bottom and also in the link tree. 24 miles in 24 hours. We're going to be live streaming it here. So come join us for that. Take care of yourselves. Eric, man, love you.
Love you too, brother.
Put on your goddamn mask. Next topic.
Slow it down and we can catch the vibe. But it's so hard to find through the daily grind. Been working overtime. And I'm sleep deprived. Shorty on my line and we fuss and fight. Seems like every night. Don't care who's wrong or right. I hope the end is sight. Slow it